Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Kindred Spirits podcast. You have your host, John. Co-host Ted is somewhere else. I'm rolling solo today, and we have with us Julia Roddar, the Washington Spirit. Julia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I believe you are you're the first player interview this year. Last year, I think I talked to all of your teammates in the course of like every consecutive week. I was talking to one of them. And I think your comms person at the time was like, let's slow it down. This is too many interviews. So I'm thankful for you taking time to talk to us. So first questions first. How is the knee doing? How are you feeling? I think last time we talked to Chris, he said it was not a major thing. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think it's still like getting better. Like I'm not fully with the team training, but I'm still like doing a lot of things on the field. So hopefully soon I'll be joining the team.
I was glad that it was not serious. I didn't want to have I think that would have been the first victim of Segra turf that we've had.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that it's not something super long term. And I definitely, as it happened, I was like, man, at the time, this was a game at Segra during the international window where all the U.S. national team players were gone. I would say depth was being tested. And I think I was like, wing back and forward are the two places really we can't have anybody go down. And then you came off before halftime. I was like, not outstanding. But anyway, I'm glad you're on your way to recovery.
Thank you.
So let's start at the start for you. You played in the U.S. For your college career at Wisconsin, Florida Gulf Coast, before heading back for a medium stint in Sweden. I will not be attempting to say the team names because I don't want to bother anybody, hurt your feelings, or hurt the country of Sweden in any way. So, two different clubs, one very large size club in Sweden. What was the U.S. college level like for you? And did you feel coming out of that you were prepared to compete right away on the professional level over in Sweden?
Yeah, I think it was a good level. And coming to Sweden after that, I felt like I was prepared. And I think like the college experience was really good for me. Having like trainings in the morning, and then like we had school, and then like more studying after that. And I think that just whole experience for 4 years was really good to come into like playing professional back home in Sweden.
I think it's funny that you started in Wisconsin. You're like, I would actually prefer Florida. I lived in Sweden. I'm going to try Florida instead. Was that a, I assume that was about playing time, but I think it probably had a little bit to do with like, I think I've made an error here in my choice where I'm going to the United States.
No, definitely. Like you're right on it. I thought that I still, as a freshman, played a lot at Wisconsin, but I think just when in that age, I think I was just like, I want a new experience. Like I don't want to be in the cold weather, kind of like similar to Sweden. Very like the climate was very similar, and we had some family friends down in Fort Myers, so I transferred there, and like I had a really good experience in Florida, and I got like good soccer combined with like a good culture experience. So I think that like really made me grow as a person, and I enjoyed my years at Wisconsin, but also I think it fit me better being Florida.
Yeah, I don't think too many people have complaints about their college career in Florida. I think it's universally, both on the field and off the field, I think it's a positive experience.
For sure.
So you played Champions League, you've won the title in Sweden, and then you had 2021 in Washington that had thrown, besides the title, more curveballs, I would assume, than you've ever seen before in your playing career. I've talked to a lot of the players about how they felt during the craziness, and they all had stories about like, moments where they just sat like, this is really our life right now. This is kind of insane. You've played in the Champions League, you've won the title in Sweden, you've won the title here in the US, but you've also had more curveballs thrown at you than you will likely have ever had before. And I talked to a lot of the players last year about how they felt during the craziness, how they would say, I can't believe this is actually my life right now, and I can't believe we're actually doing X or Y. And do you have any particular absurd moments that you look back to and are like, yeah, wow, that really did happen in my life?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just kind of like a crazy year. Like even I came in late to like joining the team because I had some visa issues. So I think like the start was just like tough. And then I wasn't here a lot in the spring because we had some national team things too kind of right away. So And then I left for the Olympics and a lot went down. I came back and kind of like tried to just like get to know people because I felt like I was still new in the team. And then like the ownership was just like kind of going crazy too. But I feel like I don't have any like particular like moments where I felt like it's crazy. I just felt like we as a team and me myself was like focusing on the soccer and didn't really like I didn't really put myself into like too much that was going on. So I think that helped just like focusing on one thing and not really like focusing on the bad stuff.
I would imagine too you were hearing a lot of this the same way the fans were, because while you were overseas or you were at the Olympics, like probably have a Google or like, oh man, that's they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's probably the way to do it. It's probably the way to stay sane, is not really, immerse yourself in the stuff you can't control.
Yeah.
To the on the field part, you have been a Swiss Army knife for Chris Ward, probably through your career. That's sort of your positional versatility, I think, is always talked about. Anytime you're brought up, either in the national team picture or here or in college. Do you have a stated preference? Which is, I'm sure you're on the field is the stated preference, but do you have a position that you feel like that's your best spot on the field?
I would say in a 3-5-2, like I like to be a wing back on the left side. Like that's where I think I did my best season in Gothenburg. Like before I came to the States, we played a 3-5-2. But I also felt that the league, like we were a dominating team. So being a wing back was really fun because we had the ball a lot in my team. I think playing like that here in this league would be very tough. So I prefer now like being in a 4-back too.
I was speaking earlier about the national team, particularly last year. You said the Olympics were at play. This year, you've had a few opportunities. I think 3 appearances this year with assists in 2 of them, which is a great assist rate. You're sort of a scoring machine. That's that should ensure more appearances in the coming year. And the finish first in the Algarve Cup. You started playing for the national team kind of late in your career. It was first cap was 26. You weren't really in the youth setup and sort of joined sort of mid professional career. What was what was that like coming into the program sort of in the middle? And what obviously it's wonderful for playing for your country, but just talk about the experiences you've had so far.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I was in the youth national team until I was like 19, and then I kind of moved to the States. So and kind of had a break for that period of like 5-6 years. And then it was kind of like I didn't really know like if I was gonna like try go professional or not after college. Like did I want to go into like my work life or soccer life? And they switched the national team coach, and my club coach at the moment said that they were interested in me. And I think that like just having that comment from my coach at the time, I was like, okay, why not? Like this could be for like I mean, I'm gonna work my whole life, so why not like go for this soccer career if if they were interested in me, like the Swedish coach. So I think that comment just made me like just like go for it and work even harder. I got the call up in I think 2017, and ever since then I'm like I'm right there. Like I'm in and out, kind of like went to the World Cup and then the Olympics. And I mean it's so fun representing your country and like play with the best women in the in the world or against and play with. So I think it's been a great experience and seen so many places in the world. I think that's been really cool.
That I would say getting a personal call from the coach saying we want you back in the setup that's the best way to. That's like, all right, well, okay, sure, yeah. It wasn't on my mind at the moment. But that's great.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this year. Not much has gone right so far in 2022 with the Challenge Cup, both being as long and hectic and crazy and condensed as it was at the beginning of your season, and also how the final finished and early season fixture congestion. What was the mindset from the team at the time when the results weren't coming before that big international break? I know, observers are talking about the Spirit have gotten hosed on the schedule. Chris clearly agrees, and his checking account will probably dictate the fact that he's agreed, and the fines have come in a number of times to dictate that. But what was the inside the locker room? Are you guys like? Are you seeing that as an excuse? Are you seeing like 2 games a week every week for like what seemed like a month and a half as sort of the reasoning, or every game you're like, I don't understand why we're not getting points. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to like make excuses, but I think that definitely was like really tough for us, and that I felt like we fought hard, and like maybe we got like, I mean, we've been losing a lot, but we also tied a lot,
Mhm.
where some of the games I felt like we should have had 3
For sure.
points. And it's been kind of like that season when everything is just kind of like going against us. Like it'll be post out instead of post in, you know? And I think that month and a half that we had really a lot, it was like we never had fresh legs. So we kind of like just had to like keep trying, and like we were as hard on us, ourselves that we could be, but I felt like that was when we had a lot of injuries too. So it was like a tough month and a half where we could not get a lot of points. And I think even now when people are back, like we still have a lot of good moments in the game, but we maybe have a hard time like kind of like closing the game off and winning the games, which last year was totally the opposite.
It's like the karmic rebalance. Like last year
Yeah.
everything went right, and this year it's like, how about none of those things going right? And I remember too
Yeah.
talking to Chris at the beginning of the season, sort of in preseason, and he was going through his midfield depth. He was kind of like, I don't know how I'm going to find minutes for all these players. We're all like, yeah, I know that is what it looks like for sure. He said he knew,
Yeah.
he knew the international break was coming too, but yeah, it is. And also the other thing I think that probably had to be a challenge for you guys is that Chris was setting about sort of different looks, different tactics this year than he did last year, because last year was basically just like, I'm here, let's get through the season. I don't have time to institute anything new. Do you feel like that learning curve was also part of the struggles? Because in the Challenge Cup, that crazy forward press that was generating a whole bunch of turnovers and shots on goal was in great effect. Were there other elements of the sort of like learning the tactical learning curve the first half of the season, or if you had to look at it now on the other side of this long break and now and a schedule release or relief, it was probably more that it was probably just not having fresh legs at any point. And
Yeah, I think that time when we had a lot of games, we couldn't really practice either. It was just like getting onto like we recovered and then we had another game, but we couldn't really like do a lot of tactical things. And I think now in the summer we have worked more and like come more together as a team just because we had time to like actually practice together. So I think that's part of like maybe not performing well either, because we could never really have times together training together. It was just like straight into a new game.
right.
So I think that will help for like the rest of the season.
I think maybe the only bright side of the international window stealing the majority of the team starters is that the team's depth and young players have gotten a lot of minutes this year, like more minutes than anybody probably could have expected. What players have stood out to you as really taking advantage of that time and sort of putting themselves in a good position to challenge in rotation minutes for the rest of this year and then going forward?
Yeah, I think that like Amber Brooks, even though she has been in the league a lot, I think she have done really well now in the window. And I also think that Marissa Shiva, she came in now in the break and have played a lot just coming in. I think she can run forever and like is the type of player that we need in the games. So those two I think stood out.
Marissa's a great crosser of the ball, and that really
Yeah.
stands out. And Amber has, I feel like she's peaking right now. Like the last game at Audi Field, she was a machine,
Yeah,
and it's even
she was a
and
machine.
it's been the last couple of games before that too. It's like I would she had the red card to start at the beginning of the year. I think maybe sort of an uneven start, sort of indicative of the entire team's performance. But now she's certainly cresting upward, which is great since Emily is still with an injury. So you
Yeah.
have a tall task. I think it would be conservative to say for the rest of 2022. Basically, you have to win out. what's the message from Chris right now? And I'm 100% sure that it's let's take one game at a time. Is it that? Is that the message?
Yeah, I think it is. I haven't really been around like the team the last few weeks, but I definitely think that it's still like a positive vibe because I think we do have a lot of great moments in the game, and I think that Chris have been saying that too, that like the issues that we had are fixable. So like if we can fix those small little things, I think we can start winning games. So I think that's his message too.
I assume you saw the last match on TV while you're recovering. That was
Yeah.
offense certainly has arrived. The cavalry has returned from that perspective. So that's half of the battle right there.
Mhm.
So just we're wrapping up. Thank you for taking the time. I do appreciate it. You're just sort of curious about your future. If, as far as we know, I will say as an NWSL fan / whatever I am, like following the contract and like cap and stuff is impossible. Like I don't even really try. I just hope I find some things on the internet that say when at least a contract is up. And for the last thing we saw, your contract is up at the end of this year. Is that right? Or has you been extension?
Yeah.
So are you hoping? Do you have plans? Are you hoping to extend your stay, keeping your options open? What's sort of your headspace as you're heading into the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I love it here, and I think this league is very good, and I think that I keep improving as a player, and it's tough games. Like every game's very tough, so like I could definitely see myself staying in this league, but I also keep my like options open, and we'll see where I end up. But I definitely like it here.
Julia, I gotta say, I have now talked to probably 80 of your teammates, and you are the best, have the best negotiating answer of all of the players. All the rest of them that were up on contracts, I would sort of ask them that question, and they'd be like, "I don't really want to play anywhere else." So I'm like, that's not what you say. You don't say that. But I hope that they're able to come to an agreement. I think you've been, particularly in this season where they've needed some veteran experience and calmness on the ball. Last year you were fantastic, so I'm hoping you return to health and find a way to stay. I have one question from our Patreons. RJR asks, what do you think, and this is sort of maybe from before you joined as a player, maybe observing it overseas, and then now as you're in it, what do you think about the changes that the NWSL has undergone in the last 3 years, say, since you, like maybe a year before you, and say, as you've been here? And what changes would you still like to see, be it sort of on the field, off the field, media coverage, broadcasts? What's, from your perspective as a player, what do you think about the things that have gotten better and what still needs to change?
Yeah, like to be honest, I did not have a lot of like I did not know a lot about it before I came
It
here.
wasn't on Twitch
But
then. Now you could have watched it for free over there, but now.
yeah. But I definitely think like just within the 2 years I've been here, like I think it keeps growing and becoming like more and more like professional as a for the teams, like where the venues we play at, like the facilities we train at, and like just everything around, like are we getting lunch or breakfast provided? Like I think that can keep improving, and even like yeah, like the media coverage, can it be shown like on a normal channel? Like because I know people want to watch the games, but sometimes it's like where can I find it?
Right.
Or is it why is it different every game? Like I don't want it for people to, it's not gonna, like, I don't want it to be hard for people to watch our games. I want it to have like one subscription on CBS or whatever it will be, but I want it to be easy for people to watch it because I think that's a main thing. It's like, it's too hard for people to always keep up with like what channel is it gonna be on. So
Right.
if that can like keep improving and being more like easy for people to watch, I think that that's a big thing for maybe next year. And like it's such a good league that I think it can like the sky's the limit.
It really is. The
Yeah.
talent on the field astounds. And I think to your point, I was thinking I was out for something, and I was like, oh, I'll watch the game at the bar. If it's on an app, on a streaming service, like a bar is not going to be able to accommodate that. And I feel like that is a baseline hurdle that there's got to be able to find a way to. And I think probably from a fan perspective, it's probably better all on Paramount Plus than it was like some games on like Lifetime last year and some games on. So it's all in one place. It's just a little harder to get. And to your point on the how great the quality of the field, the quality of the play on the field is. I'm curious about a player's perspective on the league's sort of continued need to expand. Obviously, it's a small league and needs to grow. If you compare it to say, it's not maybe not fair to compare it to MLS because of the age discrepancy and how old the leagues are, but clearly they want to be in more places. And the thought I had was I was watching the OL Reign Angel City game this weekend and watching the ball movement, just seeing 20 pass runs. And the thing that I was thinking is all these teams, the league is so small. These teams are like, some of them are like super teams. Like they're just like every player is an international. Just the talent level is so high. And I'm wondering as the league needs to grow, just to grow and have more access to different media markets, like expansion drafts are the worst for fans and I guess for players. Like I think that at least if it happens in the offseason, you can plan for your move. But like, what do you think about that sort of dual imperative for the league to grow and but also for like the quality of the play to continue to stay just so much better than the rest? Well, I would say I'm biased, but competitively very good against the rest of the world. I would say the best, but certainly at the top.
Yeah, for sure. I think that that can't happen. That needs to happen slowly because if you're just gonna bring in 5 new teams one season, it's for sure gonna drop. So I'm not surprised, but I think it's very crazy how the 2 new teams this year are so good.
Right.
It's just crazy how suddenly 2 new teams and they're in the top. I feel like that doesn't really happen anywhere else in the world. So I think that's really cool that they can keep they can put 2 new teams in every year. And can we still keep it on that level? It's gonna be interesting to see, but I think the athleticism and the way the league is how do you say is every year is getting better. I think it's really fun to be a part of that. And I mean the younger players that come in from college, they're so good. I feel like that's a good way to start to bring in all the talented young girls and keep having all the senior players still forming the league. So it's good.
They have that is an advantage for that. Like for the United States, the college program is so good that it's basically like a farm system that builds you a big talent pool versus maybe a country where women's football is a little bit more behind. So there's some teams have academies, others don't, and it's more of a it's a harder find. Now you're just be able to recruit and find and draft. But yeah, that's a good point. And last question for you. This is like a fan annoyance. And I don't know why I asked this question after the last month and a half. Do you think the NWSL should always shut down during international tournaments, even if it extended the season, or maybe I guess it would have to extend the season. But what's your take on how the league sort of runs through almost every except the World Cup tournament and from a player's perspective, but also maybe from like a product on the field perspective?
Yeah, coming from Sweden, I thought that was really weird that we continued to play because I've never seen that before, playing in Sweden. But what's sad about it is that some teams, we lost a lot of players over the break, and some teams maybe don't. But what's good about it is that a lot of players that maybe don't get a lot of playing time the rest of the year actually get to play a lot and get to prove themselves to the coaches. So I think that's good, but it's also hard to have that, I don't know how many games we play, about 4 or 5 games, and it could be really maybe we won't make the playoffs because of that, or so it could I think it should shut down just because the rest of the world does that, but it's also a good thing that a lot of players get to play. So I'm kind of I don't really know what
it is a
double-edged.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. This is my theory is that if they're gonna make you continue to play from a team perspective, for every international player that you have taken, you get an additional budget amount to your roster that season, so you can sign like your depth. You can sign more experienced depth or whatever it is. There's got to be a fix because, like you said, it's a competitive imbalance situation. To
Yeah.
have some like it's weird where it becomes an advantage to not have international players in your team. It's actually good to not have players. So it's weird. It's for certainly weird.
Yeah.
Julia, thank you so much for taking all this time. We really appreciate it. I hope your recovery continues apace. I hope we can see you back at Audi in the coming month, month, whenever it is, before the end of the season.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Julia. You can find her on Instagram at Julia Roddar, and you can find her hopefully pretty soon back on the field for the Washington Spirit. If you want to support the show and get this interview a lot earlier than the general public, check us out on patreon.com/RFKrefugees. You'll get interviews that are exclusive and to the Patreon 5 days earlier than everybody else. So if you want to get those earlier, and if you also want to make sure that your questions get asked and answered, that's the way to do it. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the show, and we'll catch you next Monday on twitch.tv/RFK Refugees at 8:30.